Joining us live in studio, Oliver Dixon, social-political analyst. We have Kolane Sotashe, ANC Western Cape leader of the opposition, and General Bantu Lomisa, UDM leader, on the phone line. You at home are most welcome to give us a call. The lines are on the screen. Let's start with you, General Lomisa. Good evening to you, and thanks so much for joining us. In your response to what is currently happening with DA Mayor Patricia de Lille in Cape Town, you draw similarities of a political manipulation based on what happened in Nelson Mandela Bay with regards to the deputy mayor there. Just explain to us, what do you read out of what is currently facing the personal attacks on Patricia de Lille?
Well, in this case of Patricia de Lille, DA and UDM, we seem to be differing in approach where one is suspected of doing something wrong. In the case of Bobani and PE, I said to my man and the leadership of the DA, I said, please, if you suspect that Bobani has done something wrong, go and apply the Municipalities Act. Let there be investigation, and you don't even have to bring us the findings of that investigation. Go and table them in the council. Let the council debate. If the council resolves that this person must go to ethics committee and take a punishment, then the UDM will take action against Bobani. They went away around April, May. They appointed PwC audit firm. They suspended people. I'm told that the final report is silent on Bobani, and they've returned one or two of those workers they had suspended, senior people. In the case of Cape Town, I also noticed that they are not following the same procedure as prescribed in the Act. If the pet is suspected of having stolen money or practice maladministration, the act of which runs the municipality is there. And I was happy that our councillor in the municipality has backed those who called for the council to make an inquiry rather than rely on a side issue inquiry. So this is where we differ with the DA. It's their own baby.
Yeah, General Lomisa, why would you think she's not being given the benefit of the doubt? We had an extensive interview with her and really a candid conversation that she says this is a smear campaign, it is personal, and it has to do with the faction within the DA.
Well, I wouldn't know much, but having got inquiries from our structures, because most of our members are still on holiday, I issued a circular yesterday wherein I confirmed from my own reliable sources and impeccable sources that in actual fact there is a plan to oust her and be replaced by some other people, and that if she doesn't toe the line, they are likely to show her the gate. So that is an information which I obtained yesterday. So whether that is right, is correct or not, but at least our structures of the UDM in the Western Cape are in the know.
Would you say that she served her purpose, considering how, as an independent democratic, she was then absorbed into the party at the time when the so-called coloured vote was critical in ensuring that the DA is victorious in the Western Cape? You think that the party essentially is now have chewed her up and spitting her out, as it were?
Well, I'm not sure about the language you are using, but there are similarities. I once more again on what happened in Port Elizabeth. We assisted DA to ascend to power in Port Elizabeth. She assisted DA to ascend to power in Cape Town. And so it's anybody's game at guess that if they think that they can use you and then when at the right time they dump you, They do cruel things. Look at Bobani in Port Elizabeth. They went to take a person who was in the opposition, the member of the Patriotic Alliance, and use that person to vote and move a motion of confidence against Bobani. Where is that person now? They don't care. That person has been dumped or has left that so-called alliance of theirs. This is what is happening here in Lille as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. That's General Bantu Olomisa, UDM leader, on the line. We'll come back in studio with Oliver Dixon. Let's touch base with Xolani Sotashe, ANC Western Cape leader of the opposition. Mr. Sotashe, thank you so much for your time. And just the reaction in terms of what has now come out, where Patricia de Lille is saying that she refuses to be pushed. She's not going to resign, but will stand her ground and hope to be exonerated come Sunday. Do you think that she has a fighting chance?
No, thank you for having me, Cindy, and greetings to all other panelists. Cindy, the situation in Cape Town has reached a point where one has to draw the line that we've been raising these issues of democratic alliance for quite some time now. During our campaign in 2016, we spoke about the Cold War between de Lille and Helen Zille. And at the time, people did not believe us. And they were saying it's just an election hearing. And we knew what we were talking about. Just to come on this issue of de Lille, the city of Cape Town has been involved in a serious corruption. And all of them, they've been involved. But the strange part on this issue, de Lille has been singled out as a person that is corrupt. They do not talk about other participants in the corruption in the city of Cape Town. Like, for instance, all these corruptions, these irregular expenditures, they happened under the watch of the deputy mayor, who happened to be the chairperson of the finance committee then. They knew about all this corruption way before 2016 local government elections, and they didn't do anything about it. They waited to use de Lille for local government elections so that they can be able to win the colored vote. And now they are done with de Lille. They want to offload her unceremoniously. And I must say, Cindy, the other question that we must ask, Musi Maimane received forensic investigation reports illegal. He must be able to tell South Africans who gave him the forensic reports of the city of Cape Town without the city of Cape Town giving him that permission, because all of us as councillors, we've been asking for forensic reports to be tabled in council. And the speaker and the political leadership refused.
All right, Mr. Sotashe, just stay on the line. We have a caller who's been patiently waiting. Spiwa, thanks so much for your call, calling us from Cape Town. What is your view, comment or question?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My view actually is based on the allegation based on Mayor Zille. What I would like actually to emphasize is the fact that let's look at the corruption thing broadly on a broader perspective. Corruption is a corruption, no matter where it which angle it comes from. And for de Lille and the DA as a whole, if it's a party that is against the corruption, they have to deal with de Lille, and de Lille has to be suspended. And this thing that de Lille is coming with of the fact that there's a faction, people that there's a faction that wants to. There's nothing of some sort.
All right, Spiwa, thanks so much for your view. We just need to give other people an opportunity as well. Thanks for your contribution, Tando in Cape Town. Good evening to you. Hi, Tando.
Good day, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks for asking. Go ahead.
I'm good. Ma'am, I'll just speak closer quickly. Martin has closer. You know what is happening here, Cindy? They used the Lille to get the city of the city of Cape Town back to them. Now it's highly time that they are now speaking out. Lille, she is not the one who's corrupt in that municipality. I work for provincial government in Cape Town. I know exactly what is happening. The Premier of Western Cape and Lille, they don't see eye to eye because of what? Lille is trying to transform that Western Cape city of Cape Town. Zille is standing against that one. I see now they want to put this guy Bongingozi Matikizela to be the mayor of Cape Town. The same thing they're gonna do to him. They're gonna use him and then they throw him up. There is nothing wrong that women have done. Lille, she is trying to transform the city of Cape Town to belong to all of people who live in it. But what they're doing is they're standing just right in front of her. They don't want her to do her job.
All right, Tando, thanks so much. Just before we let you go, Mr. Sotashe, in the ANC in itself, where you're not necessarily capitalizing, if you will, in trying to regain the leadership of the Western Cape or the Western Province, do you think as the opposition you've been effective, as the DA and other parties have been, in highlighting the shortcomings of the ANC?
Now look, Cindy, we wouldn't be here where we are today if it was not for the agency. You will remember the reason why we are talking about this corruption today. It's because the ANC uncovered a lot of corruption and then we brought to the attention of the public. And let me say, the last caller that contributed here, Lille is not clean. There are two processes here. We are saying we've been raising these issues of corruption. But the DA did not act then because it did not suit them at the time. Now they want to hijack issues that have been raised by ANC to use for their political expediency. And we're not going to agree as ANC where white liberals within the DA will go to nothing in making sure that they get rid of black people and use them. So there is a trend here. They started with Lindiwe Mazibuko. Where is Lindiwe Mazibuko today? Where is Mbalintuli today? Today is Lille. Tomorrow it might be Musi Maiman. So what you are saying to people who are in the DA will never change. It will remain a racist organization.
Mr. Sotashe, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you indeed for your time. Konane Sotashe, ANC Western Cape leader in the opposition. Oliver Dixon, social-political analyst, thanks for your time as well. Do you think that the DA in this regard has painted itself in a corner in how they're going to deal with the issue of Patricia de Lille? She's come out and saying she's got all the evidence, responded to all the questions to exonerate her, but clearly it seems there is a concerted effort to oust her.
Yes, when the Democratic Alliance EXCO had a meeting with regards to the matter, the meeting was initially supposed to be about relating to charges against her. When James Self and John Steenhuisen and them walked out of that meeting, the message we got from them is that they didn't really discuss the merits of the case because there are no merits of the case. Patricia de Lille seemed to have done a fair job at defending herself with regards to that. But what they said they didn't discuss, in fact, was whether they had confidence in Patricia de Lille. We don't quite know what the outcome of that conversation was about their confidence in her. But if it's the case that they don't have confidence in her, she said it several times in the last few days that she will fight it. That the 66% plus electorate of Cape Town that voted for her on that ballot deserve much more, and she will fight to stay the mayor of the city of Cape Town until her term comes to an end.
We'll come back to you, Oliver, looking at how strong her position is in the sense of whether she's a sitting duck or soft target, and pardon the cliches, but you know, how strong is her position in the DA at the moment. Timber in Centurion, good evening to you. Thanks for holding.
Good evening, Cindy. Thanks, and thanks to the rest of the panelists. I think two things that I would like to deal with. The first thing is that Patricia de Lille is actually tasting her own medicine. If we could rewind, Patricia is the whistleblower in as far as the arms deal problem was concerned. And she went on to say things without proper investigation done, and accused people for having been corrupt. Now, she says she will be vindicated, she will be this, that, and the other. People have gone on to say things without proper investigations. I'm saying, taste your own medicine, Patricia.
All right, Temba, thank you so much. In Centurion, the chicken's coming home to roost. There's another
That's
cliche.
so weird. She wasn't wrong in large part about the claim she made about the arms deal. And if it weren't for her initiative to whistleblow in a similar fashion, if it weren't for Lindiwe Mazibuko's initiative to speak up against Nkandla, there wouldn't have been an investigation into the arms deal, and we wouldn't have uncovered the things we had about the arms deal. So I think it's unfair to say that chickens has come back come back home to roast. In this instance, I think importantly here is that there must be an actual investigation that must be completed. The investigation that we have in completion about the real corruption in the city of Cape Town is the PricewaterhouseCoopers report on the service provider that has been stealing money from the people in that instance. There are three things that Patricia de Lille is facing here. Three sort of claims. The first claim is that she, along with Melissa Whitehead, who heads the public transport initiative in Cape Town, were involved in irregular tendering. The second claim is that Patricia de Lille tried to cover up for Melissa. And the third claim is that she used personal funds. She used state money to renovate a house. The one on state money to renovate a house she has cleared. The other two, however, needs to be cleared up. The first, the amount in terms of tendering is a 43 million rand tender that was given to a Chinese company. We have no real outcome on that.
Yeah, but just a short answer, Oliver, and I hate to break your word, is in your view, and how the process has unfolded, is this indicative of the DA trying to deal with the issue of allegations, maladministration, corruption, or does it seem that it is an attack on Patricia de Lille?
It's so weird. It's public officials, and this is at least to my observation, are never really keen on calling out corruption until they can use that as a ticket for a personal agenda they have against someone. So they'll only call you out for corruption insofar as it elevates themselves. And I think this is what's happening in this instance. I think the Democratic Alliance is inherently an anti-black organization, and I think she's falling victim to that. I think one of the callers was correct. She's been used and now she's being dispensed in that instance. And she says she's going to fight. Importantly, what the Democratic Alliance is doing here is that they're allowing for the infighting in the Western Cape and in Cape Town in particular to continue at the expense of ordinary citizens there, and that's the real injustice.
All right, and of course this will all come to an end. Hopefully we'll have more clarity on Sunday once the executive of the DA, the federal executive of the DA meets with Patricia de Lille, and we'll hopefully get to the bottom of this. Thanks so much, Oliver Dixon, social political analyst, and you at home for making the call as well. We'll take a break. We'll see you shortly.